Everybody, Dave here, Hidden Freedom Investing. In today's video, we're going to go over my December dividends received. We're going to look at the dividends received for the whole year as well for 2020, and kind of look at what 2021 looks like as well. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, this is the agenda for today's video, and we got the December update video. We just saw a little bit of progress on Dividend Mountain, so he did make a little bit of progress on that big old mountain there. And overview, 2A, all of my spreadsheets are available. I just did an update that is available now if you are interested. Like I said, I've talked about it in the last couple of videos. And I put an options review or options, kind of control panel there, and consolidate all those down into one report. So that is available now. So everybody that's already purchased it, you should have got an email on that and that it was already available. So see pinned comment or description for that. There's still roughly $532,000 left in my real estate notes. If you're kind of curious about real estate notes at all, look at my promissory note video that I did like last year sometime. All right, I just added in 2C real quick here, 2021 dividend portfolio plans. A lot of it's going to depend on the real estate notes up here. I have a feeling at least one of those will get paid back early next year. I also might consider calling the carryback that I did, call that guy up and say, hey, you really should think about refinancing these in through a normal bank instead of having me finance it, because he's going to be able to probably get his interest rate probably half of what I'm charging him. So I might be able to get $150,000 back off of that alone. But yeah, either case, I'm good either way there. So that is kind of the plans. I may be adding capital to this portfolio as well. And that's all going to be funded by my cash secured put or even naked calls that I've been doing every month. I haven't really made a video on it specifically. I'm not going to really talk about it much in this video either, but that may be funding portion of the dividend portfolio for 2021 going forward. I don't plan on adding any W-2 income to this portfolio at all. So that brings us to the dividend portfolio. So let's go ahead and look at the overview here. So the dividend portfolio value at this time is $392,000, and we've had quite a few. This month has been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Right now we are up $1,100 a month on average dividend income, and that comes out to about $36 a day or $1.51 per hour. Right now my dividend portfolio has about a 3.37 average weighted dividend yield. Average yield on cost is 3.74. Average weighted 5-year dividend CAGR is 8.17. Average weighted beta about 0.82. Still have 30 positions. I did not sell any positions. I did not buy any positions. So at this time we are up over $39,000 in this dividend portfolio, and pretty much this portfolio was built out just this year, January to December. Obviously we're in January. I'm recording this in December, but that's a pretty substantial incline, 11% right there, just for building this out this year in the middle of a pandemic. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. Fire days left, we are up, we are down to 456 days. I put that there because I thought it would actually go by slower, but it actually is going by way faster, believe it or not. So let's go ahead and take a look at my positions. These are all my positions here. There is 30 positions in here. They have not changed since last month at all. Still the biggest position is VYM. I'm still adding to that, and I am up 8.29% on that, $9,500. That's a pretty substantial increase in my opinion, because I didn't really add that until, I don't know, just about 3 or 4 months ago. At least that's what it seems. I'd have to go back and look at the actual official time I added that, but Microsoft, I'm up 18%. Looks like Johnson & Johnson up about 10.75%. JP Morgan there, 22%. And then here's the Apple there, up 120%, which I've talked about, pretty much every month, that I picked that up literally on the market low of March 23rd. I still have a couple positions that are down. Chevron's pretty down, 7% there. Altria's down, what, 2% there. Looks like we have still Intel is down, and it looks like they'll have a little news this week. Maybe they'll get a little pressure. Maybe the Bob Swan will come out with some news. I know they're going to come out with news in January, and I know they're coming out with earnings in January, but I know they're supposed to make a decision on the foundry, or they're going to use, Taiwan Semiconductors, or they're supposed to use their own, or a hybrid, or whatever. So I'm hoping that actually ticks that up a little bit. We'd love to get another 10% out of that, so I can get out of it in my other account. Con Ed looks like we're down 7.99%, and Kimberly Clark we're down 3.67%. AT&T is a little bit under pressure lately, and we're down 10.37% in that. So let's go ahead and look at the dividend increases for the month of December here. There is a couple in here. And let's see, we have one right here. Pfizer got a dividend increase of 2.63%. That's a little bit lower than what we would expect, but it still is an increase during the pandemic. I'm not going to really complain about that. And I think that boosts their consecutive years up to about 11 years or so. So let's go ahead and clear that flag on Pfizer there. All right, that's cleared. And it looks like Realty Income here had a dividend increase as well. And that was about a 0.21, but I think that's their fourth increase this year alone. So I'm pretty happy with that. It looks like they increased their dividend about 4% a year. And I don't know what it added up to be. I know it's at least over 1%, I believe, somewhere around there, maybe 1 to 2%. I'd have to go back and look. I should have looked at that. But in the case, they had a little bit of pressure this year as well, but all things considered, they actually did better this pandemic or recession than they did in 2008. So I'm not going to complain about that. Let's go ahead and clear that flag. Okay, Realty Income is cleared. It doesn't look like we have any other dividend increases at this time. So let's go ahead and move right into the buys and the sells. And right now it looks like, I haven't listened out here. I don't have any sells at all. I already know that for a fact. I did not sell anything. Didn't sell even a portion of any stocks at all. All I did is buy in the month of December, and here's what I bought. And so I bought a little bit of AT&T there, just 2 shares. I bought a little bit of MO there, 5 shares. Bought a little bit of APD there, just because it's a little underweight in materials. So I bought 2 shares of APD. I bought some more shares of ExxonMobil as well. I do think oil is going to make a comeback over the next year or two. I bought a little bit more of Colgate-Palmolive there, another 10 shares. Bought some more J&J. About 19 shares of J&J. I'm up to 100 shares now in J&J, at least in one account. And combined, I'm up a little bit more than 100 shares. And I bought 113 shares of VYM. Total buys for the month of December of $16,557, and that was 7 buys total. So that takes care of the buys and the sells. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stock allocation now after all those buys and sells. And I updated this over to the right over here. That's the, I just took that from the VU. I'll probably need to do another update here at the end of December. Right now, like I said earlier, I did add a little bit to APD to try to increase the materials up because it is a little underweight. So, materials is 2.7. So I may actually add a little bit more shares of APD, maybe in January, February, just to get that up a little bit. I actually like that company. Consumer staples still 19.2%, pretty high still, but there's some solid companies in consumer staples. So utilities still pretty high in my portfolio, but that is how I get a low beta as well. It's part of the reason why it kind of acts as the bonds as well. 10.5% there is kind of high compared to what the S&P 500 is at 2.9. Financials, all I do have is JP Morgan. 5.7% is in JP Morgan, but I really just don't want to add much more to JP Morgan. I don't want to have it, to be the biggest position in my portfolio. So I do think banks are going to be doing better going forward as interest rates go up, over the next several years. I do think banks will actually benefit, so I might look at maybe adding another bank stock. I don't know yet. Healthcare, 11.7%. That's AbbVie, Johnson & Johnson, and Pfizer in there, 11.7%. Healthcare over here is 13.7%, so I'm not too far off on that. Information technology, 20.3%. And information technology over here is sitting at 27%. That's your Microsoft, your Apple, your Intel, your IBM, and Cisco in my particular portfolio. Communication services, 6.3% there. I am down on that, but that is just Verizon and AT&T in my particular portfolio. It is down, but that's fine. I don't really think about adding another communication sector stock or something like that. I guess I could add Disney, but that's just not my cup of tea. Consumer discretionary 8% versus over here it's 11%, so I'm a little down on that. That's the Home Depot and the McDonald's and all that stuff in there. Industrial 7.7%, and we got industrials over here sitting at 8.8, so I'm not too far off industrials. Energy, so energy I did add quite a bit to ExxonMobil, and I added a little bit to Chevron as well, 5.7%, so that is a little high for me too, but you know, right now the S&P 500 is at 2.3%. I do think that will be going up just a little bit. I have a feeling maybe the next update or maybe the next couple of months, I have a feeling the S&P 500 might weight more towards energy. But I'm pretty happy with my energy holding there at 5.7%. I may put a little bit more money in there going forward, but we'll see. And then that leaves us with real estate, and real estate is literally right at 2.5%, and mine is at 3.3%, which is just realty income, which is almost all in the tax deferred account. How did your dividend portfolio do in 2020? Comment below. Go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. So that brings us to the dividends received for the month of December. This is by far the biggest month for dividends for me, hands down for the whole year. So I did receive over $2,200 in dividends for the month of December, and I'm pretty happy about that. This is literally, this dividend portfolio started in January. So from January to December, and you know, to making over $1,100 a month in just 1 year, I'm pretty happy with the results. You know, short of just taking, you know, almost $400,000 and just dumping in stocks all in January, which I could have done. You know, I decided to build it out slowly and a little bit more methodically, and I'm pretty happy with the results. So we received a total of 16 dividends for the month of December, and this is one of those periods where December is one of the large ones. Basically 4 months out of the year where there's going to be some large months there of dividends, and then there's going to be some smaller ones and a little bit bigger ones after that, but not quite. I got rid of a lot of stocks that paid some of those different months there, but this is one of those big months for me. So we received a dividend on Pfizer, Intel, Southern Company, Johnson & Johnson, IBM, ExxonMobil. Pretty big one on ExxonMobil there, $194. Chevron, Microsoft, 3M, Realty Income, which we receive every month. That's a monthly payer there. McDonald's, Con Ed, Coca-Cola, Duke, another $100 from Duke. And we got Home Depot, and then we got the big VYM payout here of over $1,000, $1,048. That's a pretty big dividend producer for me going forward, and I'm continuing to build that out as well. So let's go ahead and update the spreadsheet here with the dividends received for the month of December, which you can be able to run my Python script to write all the dividends across this line right here, and that will close out the month of December. So let's go ahead and take a look at that here. We're going to look at this 2020 dividends here, which we're sitting at $5,030 so far for this year. And we're going to go ahead and run the script now to update all the dividends received for the month of December. Okay, that completes the dividends received, and that should update here in a minute. The Google API is super slow today for some reason, and we ran the script already, but I'm still just waiting for there goes the API. It is a little slow for some reason today. I don't know why. I think it's still refreshing, so let's just wait for that to continue, or finish, I should say. Then we can close this particular thing down. Okay, looks like the script has finally finished, and it looks like the Google API has finished updating as well. So we're up to $7,248 received for 2020 in dividends. I had no plans, what my goal was for 2020 or anything like that. So I'm pretty happy with $7,200 in dividends there. Next year, we are going to hopefully get up to about closer to $15,000 in dividends. At least that's my goal for next year. I really don't know because, like I said, a lot's going to depend on those. A lot's going to depend on those real estate notes, whether they get paid back early and how much money I generate in my options account and I can feed this account with. So let's scroll down a little bit here, dividends by month, and here is December right here. You know, $2,218, which we just updated there, dwarfs pretty much every other month. And you know, obviously last year, 2019, was not a dividend focused year at all, and I've talked about that in other videos. So just last month there at 690, and then September, which is another one of those big months right there, was 1,400. So I pretty much dwarfed the last big month, and that's pretty impressive, at least to me it is. So we scroll down here, we got dividends by the quarter. In Q4, we had a total of $3,257 for Q4, and that dwarfs Q4 for last year, which, like I said, was not a dividend paying year, not focus year for me anyway. But Q3 of 2020, $2,277 still, we literally dwarfed it. And going forward, we're still probably going to dwarf this particular quarter on Q1 for 2021. And then finally, just round this out by dividends by year. Here we got 2020 with $7,248. And just look at the dividends received here. These are the dividends received, which you already looked at, but that's what the script did, is it wrote across that line there. And we kind of just get an idea, you know, Johnson & Johnson, we kind of, you know, increased that all throughout the year there. Every one of these stocks, we pretty much increased throughout the year considerably. Now, obviously, I got rid of Clorox there and got rid of a bunch of other positions I had in here as well. And if we scroll up over here or scroll to the right, there's just a lot of positions that I got rid of that are not going to be in the portfolio for next year. Like GPC is a good example. Cisco, the food company, is gone. ADM is gone. Leg is gone. So, you know, it looks like VYM increased substantially from the last payout from $345 to $1,045 this month. Let's look at the, let's take a look at the realty income. Look at this here, that's a monthly payer, and that's gone up every single month there. That's a monthly payer, and it's a, you know, it's a real estate REIT, and it's a dividend aristocrat, and it's gone up every month because I'm dripping. Every single one of my stocks gets dripped and just goes right back into the same stock. I do not turn that off. I do not manually buy the stocks or anything like that with the drip. So that rounds out the dividends received for December. We also ran the script and we updated the dividend metrics. So we looked at those already. Let's talk a little bit about the options income. I'm not going to talk about my IB account, which is where I do naked calls, cash secured puts, naked puts, strangles, and all that stuff. I'm going to do separate videos on that because there's a lot to talk about. It'll make this video just too long. But we are going to talk about the covered calls because that is a portion of the dividend portfolio. Let's talk about that next here. Let's see, let's go to options report. So here we are looking at the options metrics and report, and right now it is queried on the Schwab account there because the Schwab account is where all the dividend stocks are at, and that is where I do the covered calls at. So we're already focused on that. We are for December 1st for December 31st, and right now we've made over, let me see, $236 in covered calls for the month of December. And if we look at that, obviously these are the top plays that I did, actually the only plays that I did. So I did 2 options plays on Apple, 2 options plays on JP Morgan, 2 options plays on Microsoft, 1 on Pfizer, and then 1 on VYM. And these are kind of the metrics here. You can kind of look at those. Average probability of the money, about 4.4%. And total premium, $248, which I get mostly back because I let these literally expire. I don't even close them out. I just let them expire. So that's just taken off the commissions there of $11. And it was a total of 18 contracts because most of the contracts, I believe, were all in VYM. So if we look at the query data here, this is the query data for just that month there. And looking at this query data here, the VYM, there was 11 contracts just for VYM. And there's quite a bit of capital made from that, $135 just made from those covered calls there. And they got, you know, pretty close to being in the money, but, you know, I still, they didn't end up being in the money. So, you know, everything worked out fine. I didn't have to roll it or anything like that. So I opened a whole new batch of those. And if we go here to option activity, the batch that I opened up was this batch right here. So just going back to the options data here, you know, obviously the probability of the money, I try to keep those kind of low so I don't have to deal with anything getting called away, or I don't have to deal with anything, you don't have to deal with rolling it or anything like that. So I just, you know, it's just free money the way I look at it. And it was $236 of income for the month, and that's pretty, you know, I'm pretty happy with that, you know, for literally just clicks of a mouse, you know, I mean, it's just free money. Obviously going forward, the VYMs continue to go up as well. I'm still trying to just juggle the DTE and trying to juggle the probability of the money on that one a little bit, you know, messing around with the strikes to get where I know I want to be. But, you know, it looks like it's going to be producing about anywhere from, you know, $150 to about $250 a month. And obviously I keep adding more shares to that as well. So that means that I'll be selling more contracts going forward as well. Because right now I think, well, let's see what contracts we're out on that. Right now we're up to what, 1,293 contracts just in that one account there. So just another 7 shares, we'll be able to sell 13 contracts going in February when that next iteration comes around. And that brings us to the dividend income projections for January. So we're logged into my Schwab account here. We are looking at the dividend projections for, basically I'm just gonna look at this month real quick, or excuse me, this year real quick, and then we'll just look at 2021 going forward. So this is, you know, January, we just started out, and we didn't have a lot of dividends back then, you know, $5 total there, you know, a little bit of interest in there, back when they were paying a little bit of interest. So $114 for February, you know, going up, let's see here, March, you know, another $297, and then kind of dropping down a little bit there in April, May, you know, another $335, June got a little bit bigger, $798. July, $401, August, let's see, $474, September, another big month, $1,400, and then October, $456, November, $582, and then we just had December here of over $2,218. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual next 12 months. So next 12 months, and this is kind of going forward, obviously I'm going to be continuing to add more capital to the dividend portfolio. But right now it has me at January sitting about $455. So that's what we're going to be looking at for the month of January, and then see, you know, February looks at $588, and then we got that another big humongous month there in March, over $2,228. And I probably continue to add, so that will actually probably go up most likely. So and right now we're averaging, of course this could be off a little bit, about $1,100 per month on average, and then over $13,000 per year in dividends. So that closes out the dividend portfolio update for the month of December, and also all of 2020. It's been a spectacular year for dividend investing for me. Obviously in the middle of a pandemic and trying to juggle all that around. Look at my last video that I did right here when I talk about how I, you know, played the market crash literally perfect. I could not play it any better for myself, and I talk about that video. It also, you know, could give you an idea of how you want to play a market crash or a market pullback the next time we have one, because who knows, it could happen tomorrow. Let's go ahead and close this video out. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, go ahead and leave a comment below. Go ahead and shoot me an email, hit me up on Facegram, Twitter, or something like that if you have any questions, and I'll be glad to answer them for you. So go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.